Hey everyone. Whether you are an ACC student, a faculty member trying to figure out how to incorporate or teach about AI in your classes, or a staff member looking to optimize your week, welcome. Right now, AI feels a little bit like magic or a monster, depending on who you ask. In my Writing with AI class, we read Ethan Mollick's Co-Intelligence, which classifies generative AI as an alien mind. It writes like a human, but it doesn't feel human. It's intimidating. But today, I want to show you that AI isn't a magical brain. It's actually something much closer to an old school arcade game, pachinko. My husband built an amazing visual simulator called the Probabilistic Cookbook to show us exactly what happens under the hood when you type a prompt into an LLM like Gemini, ChatGPT, or Claude. Let's take a look. Okay, so the way that this simulator works is intended to mimic what happens when you put a prompt into a generative AI tool. So let's drop a chip and ask for a carrot cake. So you can see that when we dropped that chip, we hit some walnut and some flour, some more flour, maybe some pineapple. And what we ended up with was a spicy outlier that has walnut, flour, and cinnamon. You can see that this is maybe the start of a cake, but not something necessarily that we would want to eat. Because AI, a generative AI tool, has never eaten a cake, right? I put my little ball of data, it dropped from the top. It didn't think about its favorite food. It didn't have childhood memories of grandma's kitchen. It just had the prompt and the probability, the recipes that have been written. So, technically speaking, large language models or LLMs are just incredibly advanced prediction engines. They process language in fragments that are called tokens, which you can think of as words or syllables. Every time it writes a word, it looks at what came before and asks statistically, based on all the text on the internet, what token should come next. And then it gives you that token. So as the ball drops, it pings off of different statistical weights. The pegs are ingredients on the pachinko board here. If it hits this peg, there's a 70% chance that the next work is cake. If it hits that peg, maybe there's a 5% chance that it could be shoe. It just chooses the path based on probability. So let's drop a whole bunch of data at once. Just like you, we can write different prompts and we can see we could continue to do so. And notice that even though we have this exact same prompt that we're dropping in, we're pinging off of different ingredients. And ultimately, we're going to lead to different outcomes as a result, right? So we might have a classic and sweet, we might have a spiced variant, a dense and moist cake, a more minimalist cake, right? But you can see that there are so many different permutations that I can receive from this same prompt. In some cases, we may not end up with any cake at all. And in other cases, we might end up with something that's delicious and just what we were looking for. But the bottom line is that it's not about the knowledge of the AI. Instead, it's simply about prediction, probability, and guessing. This is where that alien feeling comes from. Because the system calculates millions of probabilities a second, it can generate entirely different sentences from the exact same starting point. This brings us to a major concept. AI is designed to be an algorithmic people pleaser. The engineers who build these tools don't just want them to be accurate, they want them to sound friendly, agreeable, and helpful. They tweak the pegs on the board so the balls usually land on the paths that sound polite and corporate. That's why so much AI text has that distinct, glossy, overly sanitized rhythm. It's taking the average of human behavior and reflecting it back at us. It's trying to give us exactly what it thinks we want to hear. But here's the catch. Because this is a game of probability and random bounces, at some point, it doesn't actually know anything. It has no concept of truth. It doesn't know what a fact is. It only knows what likely patterns look like. And sometimes that means that a ball will bounce in completely the wrong way. In the tech world, we call this an analytical error or a hallucination, which is terminology you might have heard. But for me, I kind of prefer old school cartoons. So think of it like that classic Bugs Bunny gag. The AI tool is trying to bake you a beautiful, delicious carrot cake. But because it's just following statistical bounces, it sometimes might drop a live bomb right into the batter. We didn't get any bombs in this batch, but eventually we might get something that would be extremely wrong and potentially devastating, like a bomb in a carrot cake. If a faculty member uses generative AI to write a syllabus or a student uses it to write a research paper without vetting, checking, and making sure that it is in fact a cake, they might just copy and paste the bomb right onto the page. It looks like a cake, it's shaped like a cake, but it's fundamentally broken. This is exactly why we're teaching AI literacy at ACC and why in Writing with AI, we focus on the Centaur model. We don't want to ban the machine, and we don't want to surrender to it either. The goal is to combine the mechanical horsepower of the computer with the critical mind and heart of the human. You are the human in the loop. Your job is to bring the lived experience, the empathy, and the genuine authenticity that a statistical pachinko machine can never replicate. Along with this video, you'll be able to see the link to the pachinko machine. I encourage you to play around with it yourself, test its boundaries, find the anomalies, and see if you can find a bomb. Until then, keep your voices authentic, don't be afraid of typos, and let's keep learning together.